Hello, everyone. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live. My name is Noriko.
Hi, how is everyone doing today? I'm happy to be here and partnering with Norico to talk about AI search visibility and how you can actually rank.
So, the reason why I asked Tamara Kramer to come on the show today is because of her extensive background in being an SEO expert, and now she's been helping us and is part of our team in really helping brands and companies to establish their GEO strategy. Tamara, you want to say something about your background, your extensive experience in being an SEO, SEM expert?
Absolutely. Well, I've started in the web back with the .com boom, and have worked across brands, fintech, auto, healthcare, and life sciences. But recently, over the last, I'd say about 6 or 7 years, I've really been focused on SEO and SEM as the foundational parts of the web as we know it. And for me, working with Norico to talk about how AI search or generative engine optimization is changing the game, as so many things do in our ever expanding digital world. So that's my background in a nutshell.
So today's topic is about AI search visibility and really about reclaiming your organic traffic. And how else do we say this? But the fact that search has changed. If we had to talk about search in terms of two stages, from 2000 to 2024, we label it as the content economy. It's all about content, higher rankings, keyword density. Think about it, blue links, which drove SEO visibility, and publication frequency. But ever since the Gen AI revolution, things have changed. I mean, things have changed in so many different ways. And of course, it's going to impact every part of marketing and the marketing funnel. And what's happened with SEO is that it's really become part of the authority economy. And a part of that is about rewarding depth, expertise, and trust, which is part of the traditional SEO offering, but there's a little bit of nuance difference between SEO and GEO. And Tamara, tell me a little bit more about the fundamental differences between the two. There's a nuance between the old way and the new way, correct?
Absolutely. And the old way as we know it is very much, about the keyword density, about, ensuring that you constantly have fresh content. Whereas with GEO and or AI search and the authority economy, what they're really looking at, and obviously this is going to change over time, is that they're looking at authority and the proper website schema that we've been talking about for decades, but is now very much in the forefront, where we're looking at authorship, we're looking at intent much more than we were previously, where SEM also helped with SEO, but we're not supposed to say that.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more about this difference, but I think the thing that people need to understand is that we can't keep on doing it the old way, at least when it comes to generative AI search, that there seems to be two sort of parallel paths going on right now in terms of search. And one of the things that Tamara has said to me over and over is basically don't discard the old way, because there's still a fundamental foundation, and then people are still searching using the traditional platforms. Correct, Tamara?
Absolutely correct. And things are shifting, but yes, the search relevance does still matter.
Okay, great. And this is a slide that we've shared, but then everyone else has been sharing it as well as a predictor of what's to come. And this is a chart by SEMrush. And basically what this chart shows is that by 2028, the number of people or visitors who are doing search is going to be shifting their behavior, meaning by 2028, LLMs, including Google AI, will surpass traditional organic search. And then there's been a lot of debate about whether this shift is happening earlier and more intensely, or if the behavior is changing much faster. And Tamara, would love to get your take on this and what you're seeing as you're doing traditional search services as well as AI search.
I think that what I'm seeing happen a lot is that people are actually using ChatGPT as, you know, the most famous example, to really do more research than we've seen in previous iterations of SEO. So it's not just, you know, best running shoes, it's what are the best running shoes for all weather terrain, as an example. So that's where we're seeing those fundamental shifts. And I think that's going to continue to increase as time goes on.
Okay. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you think that this shift is going to happen before 2028? Or what do you think? I mean, of course, nobody has a crystal ball.
Yeah. I think that it really depends on how much the tech companies push it. And as we've seen, you know, Microsoft Copilot is integrated into everything. Google Gemini is being integrated into everything. So I think potentially it could be before 2028 as the tech giants are adopting people's behavior and pushing them towards the generative AI.
Great. Thank you for that. So what Tamara has been saying and what the underlying message that we have is that, you know, visibility really depends on whether your content is included or cited in the AI generated response, at least when we're talking about AI search. And the main thing that we want to say is that you have to be cognizant of both, as we've said before, but when it comes to AI search, the ranking really doesn't matter so much. So you can still rank number one and lose traffic, at least to AI search engines or platforms. So the thing that you need to really keep in mind is that with AI, they can retrieve a lot of information without actually visiting the website. And that's the real difference between the two. You know, the question is no longer where do I rank, but am I being included? And I think that's the thing that is really shifting the way that SEO experts have to interact with their clients. Traditional SEO way, it was all about making sure that there was keyword density in your statements. Although this isn't about keyword stuffing, but you needed keywords in the sentences so that the bots would read your information. And then the new way, of the GEO way, is really very much more written for the human being, and it's less about the computer. Is that correct? Or the bots?
Or the bots. Yeah. I think that, you know, we've always talked about long tail keywords and, you know, EAT. It used to just be EAT. So that is also new in the last, you know, year or so. And it's really about the machine being, you know, the generative engine, being able to see that, oh, we could answer this question with this sentence that corresponds directly to what the consumer asked.
Okay. So the question that people are asking you, and the question that a lot of people ask us, is what makes content discoverable in AI search? So if things have changed, we've talked about the shifts and the nuances. What are some of the things that they should be doing, you know, for their brand pages? Should it be done in just the homepage, or should it be done across all pages? And what are the fundamental differences? Tamara, would you be able to just explain what they should be doing, at least in terms of shifting it towards GEO?
I would say that really making sure, you know, we've always talked about, hey, write blog posts, make sure you have enough content and that it's fresh. That doesn't change. But what really changes is that, you know, your blog needs to be structured properly. In a lot of cases, it probably already is, but you need to add those clear signals that let everyone know, no, this is authoritative. we have expertise in this subject, and it is across our website. It's no longer, oh, you can just, optimize 3 pages on your site and still rank. It really is go in depth into every area of your site where you think that someone would need an answer to their question.
Mm-hmm. So if they're writing a blog post, can they write a marketing type of blog post, or would they have to show expertise in a different way?
I think that you can write a marketing blog post as long as you have, as we have here, logical headings, lists, schema markup. We're looking at citations, and you're still going to be looking for the backlinks to other trusted sources. So it's very, very similar, but it's very complementary. And a lot of it is you don't want to abandon your keywords, and you don't want to abandon what your audience is looking for, but you may want to structure it a little bit differently to make sure that you're showing up in Gen AI.
Okay, great. All right. So one of the reasons why we're here doing LinkedIn Live is because of a tool that we built called Findable. And basically what we wanted to do, and thank you, Tamara, we got a lot of insights from you about the fact that if we're going to go into AI search, do not abandon traditional SEO expertise and foundation. So that's basically what Tamara had mentioned. So instead of creating an AI search only index, what we decided to do was create a dual index, so that what people can do when they're going to Findable is to have a visibility score, both in terms of traditional SEO as well as AI search. And so what we want to do is to make sure that you're looking at both traditional way and the new way, and not to abandon either. And as I said before, it really is about parallel pathing the two and making sure that you've got your eyes on both, which, as I said before, circling back to what we talked about, it does put extra pressure and additional work on the SEO experts, but it is that next level of deliverables that SEO experts do need to provide. And so I don't know, Tamara, how you've been juggling the two, but does that just mean that there's just extra work, or is it just more? I mean, how much more work do you have to do to make sure that you've got both things covered?
I think that that's where our tool comes in, and that is very much where we built that position of, we don't want to add layers and layers and layers of extra work. What we'd like you to be able to see is, okay, so this is where we can focus our efforts to make the maximum impact right away for our clients. So it is more work, but that's, I think, what we're going to demo with the tool that will show you that it actually is not in the long run. As long as you've got your SEO fundamentals in place, now we're showing you how to amplify them in generative AI.
Sure. Okay. So let's try the demo. Okay. I'm adding it to the stage right now. So this is the SEO Geo Analyzer. And what I'll do is I'll input website URL as illustrative example, and just want to caveat here that we have no relationships with any of the website URLs that we're going to put on. It is really just to illustrate how this SEO Geo Analyzer works. So all right, so you saw how quickly the SEO score and the Geo score came up, and this wasn't just created for the demo. This is exactly how fast the score comes up. And Tamara, if I go through this, so obviously for this brand, the SEO score is good, but the Geo score needs a lot of improvement. So let's take a look at the SEO score breakdown. What are you seeing here that you'd like to highlight to anyone who's listening?
I would definitely want to say that obviously, we have the very basic fundamentals of the titles, the metas, the headers. But as you can see, we're actually providing you a little bit more information. So as you can say, see the title tag says good, but slightly short. So you may want to increase that. Good, but could be longer for meta description. So what we're also looking at is, and this is where it becomes in conjunction with the GEO, is that there's no schema markup. So that is something that definitely needs to, and when we get into the GEO section, you'll see that as well as URL structure. So all of these various, SEO fundamentals will help when we get to the next section that shows how you can optimize for GEO.
Okay. So let's take a look. So this SEO GEO tool analyzer also provides you with some core elements of SEO, as you can see. And then let's go to the GEO crawl. Okay, so it did say that the GEO score needed improvement. So what can you tell me here, Tamara?
What we're looking at right now, and I'll go into it with the structured data and the FAQ schema. Those have 0 scores, and you can actually see that was coming based on the SEO score. And also the EEAT signals are pretty much non-existent. Internal linking needs a lot of work. Image optimization, which was also a 0 score in the SEO section. And when we're looking at something like voice search coverage, that actually plays into long tail keywords. It plays into natural language questions. So a lot of these things will be completely natural for SEO practitioners to understand. And it really just does give you that snapshot of, oh, okay, this is where I should focus my efforts immediately. And then we can add to it.
How would this help an SEO expert in terms of talking to their clients about how to implement GEO strategy?
I would assume, and just from my own conversations, that it really is, because a lot of SEO people have spent many years talking to their clients about what breaks for SEO, and then after every new Google update, we come back. At this point, I think that it's really interesting to see where immediately you can make an impact, and then start to measure from there. Because as you also mentioned, look at how quickly this is updated within our tool, because we use multiple different AI APIs and partners in that regard. So I think that talking to your clients saying, if we fix these fundamental factors, let's come back and then see what comes up next. So it's really an iterative process versus let's just redesign your entire website.
Okay, so don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. That's basically what you're saying. But you do have to think about everything with a different lens, though. There are shifts. Okay,
there are definite shifts, but you can see very quickly where you should focus your efforts immediately.
Okay, great. So there are additional GEO score breakdowns here. Anything that you'd like to mention here at all?
I think that, when we're looking at it, conversational headers, content structure, the content depth, all of those wonderful things that we'd like to be able to see in real time, how the engines and the AI tools are actually measuring these, is really important to help you understand how to structure your content. Like at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for, is like, do you have JSON? That's the schema. Do you have, the regular keywords? Do you have questions? Do you have natural language? So I think that, if you want to dive into this, take a run with the tool, you can actually play around and see what your competitors are doing and what your competitors look like as well. So, we're not gatekeeping that from you.
And I think these AI recommendations here basically summarize everything that you've been saying, especially in terms of the schema. I think you've underscored the importance of that, first and foremost, especially as the example of the website actually seems to lack the schema that it needs for better AI visibility, correct?
Correct.
So what I wanted to show you is if you're interested in the SEO to GEO analyzer and some of the things that Tamara's been saying, absolutely, this is really easy way to just analyze the health of your website and really start seeing where your GEO scores are and what you should do. But please take a picture of this QR code and then do a quick search of your brand or your competitive brand, and then come back to talk to us. We're happy to be here to help you with your SEO to GEO transition.
I agree with you. Just play around with it, and definitely reach out if you have any questions, or I wouldn't say concerns, but any questions that we can help you out with. I'd be happy to, and I know that Noriko would as well.